Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to another installment in a series that I like to call
Epic Dial Typos.
Because basically that's the premise. I buy a cheap watch, generally a cheap Chinese made watch on AliExpress that has one or more epic typos on the dial face, whether they be spelling mistakes or whatever, and we all mock it mercilessly for our mutual entertainment. This being the fourth in the series, it is worth therefore having a quick recap of the watches that have preceded this one. Arguably though, this is the fifth in the series. You could refer to the TV's Ceranometer that I reviewed way back in 2017 as the original, but for the purposes of the Epic Dial Typo series, it was the Guanqin Ceranometer that kicked things off in the middle of last year. A watch that I bought in to mock, but actually became a bit of a fanboy of. Apparently they had been making Ceranometers since 8500, and I'm pleased to see they're still making them today. The Guanqin was followed by the U-Honor, although U-Honor I think was more dishonor than U-Honor. This was an attempt at a pulsometer grading around the outer edge of the watch, but rather than saying gradué pour 30 pulsations, for some reason the ink in the photocopier must have been running out that day and it ended up saying cradle puller 2 pulsations. No matter how many times I read that, I still don't get it. And the third watch in the series was by Loreo. Now, I'm a bit of a fan of Loreo. I think they offer fantastic value for money, but in terms of the sheer number of typos they managed to fit on the dial of one watch, they get a gold star for this one. Apart from the brand name, there are only 6 words on the dial of the Loreo, and they managed to misspell 4 of those 6. Eternal with 2 L's, classic, superlative, they got those 2 right. Movementer, Sally certified. I mean, bloody hell, what a mess. Today's watch by Natural Park is similar but different. It's not quantity, it's quality. It shows that there is a mile of difference between letters, words. The meaning of a word can change drastically with just one tiny typo. Also, this watch has absolutely no redeeming features. It is a complete horror show. This is the one and only time it will ever feature on my wrist. Let's flip the camera and have a look at it. Alright, before I crack open the box, I should say a thank you of sorts to Brett, a subscriber, who sent me an email saying he had spotted this one on AliExpress. I ordered one and then emailed him back saying thank you very much. Brett, I've got a good mind to send you this. It is dreadful. It is a $15 watch masquerading as a $45 watch. That's how much I paid for this joke. I hope you find it funny. $45, I'm not laughing. Frankly, the best part of this one is the packaging. Natural Park Raw Culture, New York. In spite of the fact that it has a .kr, it's got a Korean website on there. At least it's all recyclable, because that's where this watch is heading. It's heading for the bin as soon as this video is over. Let's open it up and have a look at it. Surprise, surprise, it's a Submariner Tudor-esque thing. Completely uninspirational, so not only did they make a dreadful typo, it's a really boring design. Yes, it is some completely bland, seen it a million times before, Submariner style case with a Tudor style dial and hands, the snowflake hands layout. Now, this is not a formal review. I do not suggest you buy this watch. There are a dozen watches that I think would serve you better for $45. There are 100 watches that I think will serve you better for $45, but I may as well tell you the dimensions anyway. 40 millimeters in diameter, 10.5 mil thick, 47 mil lug to lug, and a 20 mil lug width. I assume it is made of stainless steel with an aluminium insert. The bezel action though is dreadful. It's light, it's tinny, and it's bouncing absolutely all over the place. Now, 30 meters of water resistance. I know that because when I pull off this really hideous Perlon strap and show you the case back, I'm not even going to bother removing the sticker, it says 30 meters of water resistance. In fact, the case back might be the best part of the watch. Other than that recyclable packaging, that's actually quite a pleasant little vista there. So 30 meters of water resistance, and apparently a Japanese movement, not that it matters much. Now if I zoom in, hopefully you can see that the bezel loom pip is misaligned, the Cyclops is misplaced, and the Natural Park logo, I'll throw in some macro of the Natural Park logo, looks anything but natural. It is off center and they've tried to do a couple of funky things with a couple of letters and I just don't think it works at all. But where is this typo, Jody? What is the joke today? Well, you'll notice that the hands are not at the usual 10 past 10, and that is for a reason. It's because the joke is just behind that snowflake hour hand. If I pull out the crown, it's a quartz by the way, which is a second joke, I'll get onto that in just a second. If I pull out the crown and roll that hand out of the way, rather than saying self-winding, it says 6 elf winding. So not only is it a quartz watch, joke number one, that is supposedly should say self-winding on the dial, it doesn't. It is apparently wound by 6 elves. Now this could go one of two ways, I admit. It could be wound by 6 Orlando Blooms as Legolas, for example, or 6 Liv Tylers as Arwen, depending on your preference, but I don't see Liv Tyler, unfortunately. When I look at this dial, all I see is 6 of these annoying little red guys. Like I said, it's not about quantity of typos today, it's about quality of typos today, and that is a belter. So you've got Brett to thank for wasting $45 of my money and about 6 minutes of your time on a watch with absolutely no redeeming features whatsoever, apart from the fact that it is wound by elves. So there you have it. Well done for making it all the way to the back end of this fairly short and hopefully fairly humorous video. If this one floated your boat and tickled your fancy, why not check out the horrific L'Oreal or that U-Honor. I'll see you all soon in a future video.